This is hands down one of the most common questions I get with people looking to move to the kingdom. It's also one of the most challenging for me to answer. And that is the struggle of finding accommodation in Saudi. Where do I live? Do I go to a compound, an apartment? What do I do? What areas are nice? It's tough. It really is tough. And I'll tell you why. As you probably noticed so far, there really aren't any platforms or websites which give you all of these options, right? And this was one of the most biggest frustrations for me when it comes to finding accommodation here, where to live. And I'll get into the details of why this might be in a moment, but I want to share some things up front in terms of what you need to consider first when looking for somewhere to live. I'd say the number one most important factor on where you choose to live is where you are working, right? That commute is gonna make or break your day on a daily basis. And so by understanding where you're gonna be working, you can then look in the local vicinity of that place. For me, I'm not too fussed with commute times here because back in London, I was commuting an hour and 15 minutes. And so a 15, 20-minute journey, maybe even half an hour journey here isn't all too bad. So either choose accommodation on the ease of getting to work or where the schools are if you do have kids. The second consideration is your job may actually provide accommodation for you. So I know this is big with teachers or in the hospitality sector as well. And they tend to group all of their staff together so that they can easily come to and from work in usually what is a single bus. So it's worth asking the question there. Number three, compounds are great, but not mandatory. And you've probably seen one of my videos before, or what I've been speaking about before. And whilst they are a really good option for people who are just coming to the kingdom, because there's all sorts of facilities and a community and all this kind of stuff, they are by no means essential. There can still be great apartments like the one that I'm in that have decent facilities, big open windows, nice, lots of space, good neighbors. So don't be so single-minded to think, okay, I have to be in a compound. I would imagine compounds were essential like 5, 10, 15 years ago when people really struggled to, go out and about and do things, right? You needed that closed off community. And whereas life is becoming pretty normal here now, you don't really need that protection or privacy as much. And to be honest, everyone I know here probably lived in a compound for a year, maybe 2 years, and then moved out to apartment blocks, villas with their family. And lastly, number 4, there are no estate agents really in the general sense of what you might have expected back home. And equally, there's no reliable websites which give you like a whole host of all the options in one place. I really do hope this will change, but for the time being, we just have to work with what we have. There are a couple platforms coming out. They're a little bit lackluster in terms of what they offer, but I think they will give you a bit of an idea as to what there is. Now, time for the exciting bit. I'm going to show you all of the methods expats use, foreigners use to find where they're going to live. First and foremost, the one that has served me well. Recommendations from friends, from colleagues, from clients. And this is by far the most common way to find out where's good to live, where has openings, where has capacity. And to be honest, I think there's probably about 4 different groups, families, expats, singles, living in the apartment that I'm in. And so, why not make it 5, 6, 7, 8? Let me know and I'll share the location. And to be honest, I moved here first of all because a client suggested it to me. He owns the building and he was like, Pete, you need to come have a look at this. I know you're having trouble with your place, the flooding and the maintenance, and so come have a look. I thought it was a bit further out than I would like. I came, I had a look, I loved it, and then moved in and paid full price. And a similar thing happened to me with the previous place I was at. A client shared the contact details of the management there, and then I went to meet and then got in that way. Again, full price, but often it's your network that helps you. So my advice to you is don't be afraid to ask people, whether that's HR, whether that's friends, whether that's clients, whoever. Ask people and they might be able to send some feelers out and help. Generally, people are really good on that front here. Now, number 2, brace yourself with this one because I had to. The manual way. And I remember our HR telling us this when we had to move out of the compound that they were hosting us in, and we had to, you know, spread our wings and find somewhere for ourselves. Step one in this is find an area that you like. Step two is go to that area and look at the buildings on the streets for where looks like an apartment or a compound or somewhere you may want to live. Equally, you can do this digitally by looking at the satellite view on things to look for places that look like they are compounds from the general structures that you see there. And I must admit, I did this for all of 20 minutes and I wanted to throw myself in front of a car, to be honest. You're basically having to look for signs, numbers written on a wall, people to get in contact with, or even maybe there's a security guard at the compound or the apartment or reception or whatever, and you go speak to them to try and get someone's details. For me, this was an awful experience. I did not enjoy it at all. As you can imagine, you're driving around looking, this place could be something, or this place, or this place. Whew. I was explaining this to a client. I said, this is what I'm having to do. And he was like, okay, look, let me ask. And then he ended up giving me the number for J1. The next step is when you might have found somewhere that fits the bill. You obviously look for the number, you speak to the security, and then you arrange a viewing. If you're lucky enough, the apartment might be nice, but if not, you have to kind of go on and repeat. So I'm going to give you a little example of how you can do this. So we're going to try the manual view and do it digitally. Exciting times, right? So we go to satellite view, and this is actually me looking in a neighborhood where a friend stays. And so as you can see, if you kind of find the neighborhood you want to go into, you can look for places which probably look like compounds, right? And as you can see here, this is the Marabastan compound. And so, you know, it looks like there's villas and people staying here and everything. So let's go to like a random place. We'll go sort of over here, shall we say, and see if we can do the same. So I'm thinking, all right, I want to stay in Asalama. This area is pretty central. I'll show you where that is. Pretty central. You can see all of my hearted locations. And we'll kind of have a look around this area here. So this is actually J1. So this is where I used to live. Okay, and then because I drive past it, there's a huge development happening here, which is going to be Dari 2, which is made by the same people. But anyway, besides the point. It looks like there's going to be some swimming pools on the roof and so on. Equally, down here, this is, I believe it's Dari 1, but you can kind of see what I'm looking for. It looks very much like a big accommodation, apartment building, block, etc. So if we kind of move down here, this beautiful area, we can't really see anything that would fit the bill here, I don't think. But if we move further down here, this is good, a little fun, isn't it? Oh, this looks like it could be something. So this is Dari Q. So you saw Dari 2 being built. This is Dari 1. Okay, not that means anything to you. These are probably all sort of residential, sort of private places. And we can kind of just go through looking here, right? So generally, I would say find somewhere where it looks quite nice. I'll show you where I was up at initially, right? So there was the gym I was at was up here. This is actually where the King's Palace is, or the old King's Palace is. As you can see, it's where is it? The roundabout is up. Where is it? The roundabout is down here. It's very exciting for you, isn't it? The roundabout is here. And if you carry on going this way, you come to the King's Palace, which is here. Okay, so we're probably not going to look too much in there, although I am quite interested. Okay, there's a helipad, there's a fucking football pitch, there's all sorts of stuff. But anyway, these are all rich people's houses on the coast, as you can see, royalty and all that kind of stuff. So the gym that I used to work at is here, as you can see. And then again, all of these really are sort of big villas, mansions, palaces, that sort of side of things. So if, for example, we came up here, we might be able to find places which, you know, would be, yeah, so here, Sawari Village, never heard of it. Looks like it could be a compound there, or a hotel or something. So this is what you kind of have to do if you're doing the manual route. It's better doing this, I think, probably first than doing the the actual in-person manual route, going door to door and seeing what is available. But as I said, like, try and find something that is close to home or close to work, sorry, and then you can go from there. Originally, I had apps, and then I had platforms from Google Search or websites on Google Search. And now all of the options have both. So they have a desktop option and they also have an app option. These are what a lot of the locals use when they're looking for renting or buying. And the search criteria looks quite good on them and it gives you lots of options, but take a look for yourself and I'll kind of play with them in here so you can see. So there's a few for you to get into, and I'm gonna record a video just to show you a little bit more about this, okay? Insert video now. Okay, so I'm gonna show you 4 different property websites now, right? So the first one, and to be honest, I think some of these have come out pretty recently, is Bayut. The second one is propertyfinder.sa. This is the common one that people generally come across on Google. The next one is this one called Akar. And then the next one is this one called Wasalt. So in terms of what I find to be best, it's probably this order. Bayut, which means houses in Arabic. And then we've got Wasalt, and then we've got Property Finder, and then we've got Accord, which is really a terrible user interface. But anyway, we'll get to that. So let's have a look at this one here. We're going to search in Jeddah. We are going to look at renting. We're going to look at, let's go yearly, residential, and let's go 2 bedrooms just for shits and giggles. So what we can find is various different options here. Again, probably not going to show you everything. Well, no, definitely isn't going to show you everything. And we'll see what we come across. So if we zoom into Jeddah, move up here, there's going to be all sorts available. I see some of them are going to be terrible. Some of them are going to be mad depressing. Some of them could be livable in. So let's see. All sorts of options here, furnished, unfurnished. Some of them look really depressing from the outside, but are actually lovely inside. So it's definitely worth looking at in line with whatever budget you have. This one seems to be quite good in terms of user interface and everything. As you can see, similar kind of thing, right? You can have a look through and see what kind of ticks the boxes for you in terms of bedrooms, budget, where you are, etc. But generally, everything in Jeddah is going, I'm not too sure about Riyadh, to be honest. Everything in Jeddah is going to be like around this area that you want to look at. That's kind of where everything is, maybe even up here. But you've got Obhud, which is up here, which everything in Jeddah is kind of moving north. But so there's much more developments happening up in this space too. The next one we have is Property Finder. Again, same setup. And then the last one is a car app where you can just do the same thing. Some really, really nice living situations that you'll come across as well. So it's going to be everything for everyone. So good luck taking a look at it. And yeah, hopefully this helps you get a steer as to what accommodation is like. And ultimately, hopefully you find somewhere good, convenient, nice, etc. for yourself. So if I had to do this all again, if I had to move to the kingdom again and start fresh, what would I do? So first of all, usually your work will provide some sort of accommodation for a month, 3 months, whatever that might be for you. At this point, I would be asking everyone I came into contact with to put the feelers out if they know of anything or anyone that might have rooms or recommendations. I would then make a shortlist on all of these places. WhatsApping, calling, emailing, don't rely on. People generally don't really get back to you. So I would say get the location and just rock up. Turn up, ask to speak to someone. Because I guarantee you will have a 0% reply rate. So what is going to help you? Turning up, being determined, being persistent, not taking no for an answer. All of these things and you will get your dream apartment, I hope. Now my final words, good luck. It's a struggle, but you've got this. I apologize for all of the people I haven't been able to help with this, or maybe even ignored your message, because as you can imagine, lots and lots of people ask, and hopefully, finally, I've been able to do this video, so hopefully it's gonna help you decide which route is gonna be best for you and just give you a bit of realism in terms of what to expect when moving here. Good luck! And so I did say I was gonna give you some reasons as to why things are this way, why they are the way they are. And I've heard a few reasons over the years as to why this is the case, why it's not as easy as we might hope. Potential reason number one, that landlords or property owners don't actually need the money, so they're not promoting, they don't have to advertise. They're just happy ticking along, having people come to them as and when. The second potential is the compounds, the apartments, they are pretty much near capacity. And so again, they have a constant supply of people coming in, so what's the point in advertising? Another potential option, and there may or may not be truth in this, is people are lazy. And so they can't be bothered to put in the work. They know people will come to them with time. And lastly, there's a system already in place. People know, they go to the area, they have a look around, they see what they might like, kind of like window shopping in a way, I guess. And it works for them. Now, the foreigners coming in, the expats coming in, have to use this approach. And so it's very different, but I'm sure you can make some fun of it. If you've got any questions, you know where to find me.